Ooh, everyone, the NBA trade deadline is heating up. We're getting really close to it, everyone, and we're hearing a lot of rumors right now. On Twitter, Shams just tweeted that the Nets and the 76ers are open to doing a Ben Simmons or James Harden trade, everyone. Now, this is a trade that I think would work for both sides. For the Sixers, you finally get Ben Simmons off your hands and you pair Joel Embiid with James Harden. And for the Nets, you get James Harden off your hands, who may not return next year, and you get a Ben Simmons who is a great defender, a great passer, may need to work on his shooting, but has Kevin Durant and Kyrie on his team, so he may not even need to shoot. This is a trade that I think really would work for both sides, and I think both teams are rightfully so open to it because of what I just said. It allows them to do a bit more on offense, and for the Nets, they can do a bit more on defense. You get rid of James Harden, you can spread the floor a bit more. While you lose the shooting and the maybe all-around scoring for Ben Simmons, he's still a great passer, a guy who can get to the hole, and you don't really need Ben Simmons to be a great shooter because you have Kyrie and Kevin Durant. And then you gain something on the defensive side of the ball. You get rid of James Harden, you insert Ben Simmons, you're massively better on defense. So look, while having James Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant on the offensive side of the ball, superstars galore, I do think that adding Ben Simmons with Kyrie and KD will give the Nets a better shot, just because you can spread the floor more, especially because Ben Simmons can play inside, and also you just get better on the defensive end, and you don't have to ask Ben Simmons to be that really good shooter or even decent shooter, which he is not, because you have Kyrie and KD. And then for the 76ers, pairing James Harden with Joel Embiid, that is what Joel Embiid needs for his career. The 76ers need to go get more shooters and another superstar shooter to put around Joel Embiid, and James Harden is the perfect guy to do that. He's a good passer to do that. I think putting Joel Embiid around a superstar shooter and scorer like James Harden really takes a load off of his back, because then when he goes into the paint, he doesn't have to deal with all these double teams and these swarms to the basket, because he's so good at getting points inside. If they were to get James Harden, then teams would have to worry more about the perimeter and James Harden doing everything and anything on the offensive side of the ball. So then you got Joel Embiid working in one area, you got James Harden working in one area, and you're scoring either way. Now, where the Sixers take a hit, is the defensive side of the ball. We all know that James Harden is not a great defender at all, so that's where the Sixers take a hit. But on the offensive side of the ball, they'd be massively better than they were with Ben Simmons. And I think if I were the Sixers, I'd probably see what the price would be for Bruce Brown in this trade to go get another defender, and maybe throw a first round pick or another player in there to send with Ben Simmons to the Nets so you can get another defender with James Harden. But look, I really like the idea of having a guy who can shoot in James Harden be paired around a guy who can dominate in the paint with Joel Embiid, because then you can score either way, and then Joel Embiid does not have a load on his back. But really though, I think splitting up Kyrie and James Harden could be what's best for the Nets, because if you watch these past few Nets games with Kyrie and James Harden just doesn't look like the same player. He doesn't look like he really wants Kyrie to be in that offense with him, and it really looks like he wants his own role as a facilitator and a ball handler, and he'd be able to do that on the Sixers and also drop dimes to Joel Embiid. So look, this is a trade that I think would work for all players in all sides, and I really want to see it happen as an NBA fan, and as an NBA fan who really wants to see something shake up in the NBA right now. Who will win this trade? I'm not sure, because I think it is an absolutely incredibly fair trade. And everyone, in summary, for the Nets, I think getting Ben Simmons will get you a better defender than James Harden was and right now is on the Nets. And I think you can also spread the floor better now that you put Ben Simmons, a guy who can really work inside around shooters in KD and Kyrie. And then with the 76ers getting James Harden with Joel Embiid, I think that takes a load off of Joel Embiid's back in the paint or around that mid-range area, and you put a shooter and a scorer in James Harden around Joel Embiid, who can really take the attention off of him and force defenses to really pay attention to the perimeter and him as a scorer. This is one of the most perfect trade scenarios that anyone could ever thought of go down this year, everyone. But tell me what you think about it down in the comment section below. If you think it's a fair trade, tell me that. If you don't think it's a fair trade, also tell me that down in the comment section below, everyone. Other than that, this has been Malik Hicks, aka the Ranker of the Ultimate Sports TV, signing off. Peace out, and I'll see you on the other side.